been some of the most profound or impactful learnings that you've come across?
Yeah, I think it's reinforcing for me the importance of theory in the advancement of science, because in the philosophy of science traditionally there's been a big competition between the simple inductivists. The way we come to scientific theories is by noticing a constant conjunction, and that was basically Hume's view of causation. So we're only noticing correlations, and we can develop quite significant statistical tools to help us forming these correlations. So some of them will be statistical correlations, but they're only just correlations all the same between discrete observations. So that's I'd call the naive inductivist view. And that's counterposed with the view that theories which are intuitive creations of the human mind, theories, models, that these are critically crucial elements in scientific progress. The postulation of some native entities in the theory, and then the postulation of how these theories interact. So it's really brought home for me again the importance of theory construction and theory testing in the history and development of the sciences, as opposed to these kinds of naive inductivist or induction by enumeration theories. That's one thing. The other thing that particularly struck me was when we got to Descartes, because Descartes was a classical rationalist. He thought there's some things scientists can know just by a priori reasoning. That's reasoning without going out into the world making observations. It's coming to ascertain certain facts just by thought alone. So he started off by first deducing that what he can be certain of is his own existence, the ergo. And the second thing he deduced just by thought alone is the existence of a perfect God, a perfect divine being. What struck me then was how he then, by thought alone, just by deductive reasoning from these a priori principles, he thought he was able to deduce what looked pretty close to the principle of conservation and Newton's 3 laws of motion and the universal law of gravitation. What he deduced by thought alone had a striking similarity to what was the current best science of his day, and Descartes was well steeped in that because he was a theoretician, he was a scientist himself. And what a stroke of coincidence that these empirical principles and principles that tell us about objects in the real world, what he thought he deduced by axioms, self-evident axioms, how they just happen to coincide with the best science of the day. So it really is a good illustration of when you're using a priori reasoning and you're deducing from what seem to be self-evidently true axioms, really question, are they really self-evident, or are you bringing to bear things that you know you think you know are certain to be true, but you only are certain to be true because of your own learning, your own socialization. So it's a really important warning about be cautious about biases in your own reasoning. And he was a brilliant thinker. He was an absolutely brilliant thinker, but even he fell victim to the dangers of just relying on axioms.